If you're an MCU merchant, you will like this film. If you appreciate films and films making sense, and you appreciate Galactus and Silver Surfer, eh, um, so straight off the bat, I've already put it like in the thingy. This is a spoiler review. This is a spoiler review. It's a spoiler review. This is a spoiler review. Keep in mind, this is a spoiler review. So this is your last warning. I put it on the whole thing. I will spoil the film. Only watch this review if you've seen the film. Last warning, spoiler review. Fantastic Four. Is this a good film? That's a loaded question. Because you have to view this in one of two ways. From the MCU fan's view and a film fan's view. If you're an MCU fan, something I am not, you will enjoy this film. It's one of the better MCU films. If you're an MCU fan invested in the MCU, this is another great episode of the MCU. It's another really good episode of the MCU. If you're a film fan that appreciates an actual film that tells a cohesive standalone story, beginning, middle, and end, something that Iron Man did, something that the first Avenger did, something that to a great extent the Winter Soldier did, you'll have issues with this film. For me, so look, how does it work and how does it not work? I think the strength of the film is good score. Shout out to Michael Giacchino. Pretty good score, nice theme. Nice, the look of the film. It looks good. It's a nice, vibrant look. And the way that I think is Matt Shackman has made the 60s looks really, really, really cool. The dynamic of the four is good. I have issues with them. And I have a huge issue with one particular character that I'll get to. But I feel that they kept 3 of the 4 are great. I have issue with 1, and I'll tell you the issue who I have with. But I think 3 of the 4, I think they work great. I don't think, because I literally just was watching scenes of the old Fantastic Four film. Now, look, this film, it's better than those Fantastic Four films. It is. But there are things those Fantastic Four films did better than this film, specific things. But I just think that in terms of just the crew, I think as a family, and selling the whole idea of that this is a family that's together, it works. The issue, though, is this film doesn't have time to breathe. And that is my issue with these MCU films. Because I'm like, okay, so interesting characters, they've introduced them, this whole family feeling. Let's now get to know them. Let's now really get into their psyche. Let's now get to see what they're about. Before we really get to see what they're about and what it feels like to live with this house, we are already getting on this whole thing of like a baby, what this baby means, and how the baby connects to the larger MCU. So yet again, another potentially really good film that could be a really good standalone film is hijacked by this larger MC story that has to build towards Avengers Doomsday. Some people love that. And some people will, because people are invested in the MCU. I'm not. I'm invested in good films and the X-Men and Blade. So give me a good X-Men Blade, I'm cool. But I'm here for a good film. So overall, again, for me, I didn't like the film. That's just me. For me, like at the end of the film, I was like, okay, cool. It had good bits. There were aspects of it that I liked. But overall, for me, I didn't like the film. I was like, no. And I'll get you to specific issues. Because there was one massive issue that just completely turned me. Well, 2, but really one massive one. But I want to go through all the different Fantastic Four and just how they did. So, first off, we have your boy, the Thing, Ben Grimm. Yeah, I don't know his name because he's the guy from The Bear, Eban Morak, because the guy from the very first Fantastic Four film, we're going to ignore the 2015 one film, Michael Chiklis. Bro, go watch The Shield, one of the best TV shows of all time. Michael Chiklis in The Shield, amazing. He was the original Thing in the films by Tim Story. The CGI I thought would be off-putting, but I think it works here. I think the CGI works, and I think that he was cool. Now, I watched the Fantastic Four cartoon. So that's the cartoon that I watched more. I'll be real with you. Michael Chiklis felt more like the Thing than this guy. Just in terms of just his quips, the things he'll come out and say, and just the energy he would have. I prefer Michael Chiklis's interpretation over this. I think that the CG, even if I have issues with the CG, the CG works better than the prosthetics. That, like, looking back at it, look, he was looking crazy though, and it just looked like a plastic man. So the prosthetics was not great for the Tim Story film. So because the guy was looking crazy, but in terms of just the acting, the personality, the characterization, I prefer Michael Chiklis's performance to the performance of the guy here. But for this story, it worked. But again, and this is going to be a running issue with the whole thing. What's it like? The big, massive thing about the Thing is he got the rawest deal of all the powers because everyone else still looked like themselves. But the whole point about the Thing is that it's like, bro, I don't look anything like how I look like. So issues meeting women, issues being intimate with women, people staring at him, people looking at him as a monster, looking at him as like a freak, and him having to deal with that. That's such a crucial aspect of the Thing. And because this film doesn't have any time to breathe, because it's trying to rush too much towards the bigger MCU story, you don't really get to see more of that. Yes, it gets hinted at by when the kids say lift up the car and he meets that woman. But because there is so much needs to be done via the larger story, his own little story and his own little personal journey, there's no time to really breathe. Because remember, they've fast forwarded the whole thing of when they get the powers. So they already have the freaking powers and everything. And then, so yeah, look, because that aspect of the thing of like the tragedy of what he's become, that's a really strong story nugget of the Fantastic Four, and it's not really invested here. But for the story, he does work. He does work. And I think he does have a good kind of relationship with Johnny Storm. So here's the thing, Joseph Quinn. Joseph Quinn is a good actor. I thought he was really good in Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2, not a good film. But the best things about Gladiator 2 was Denzel and him. He was really good in Gladiator 2. So he's a really good actor. Joseph Quinn is a better actor than Chris Evans. He is. He simply is. But the thing about casting is not about the better actor. It's about the right actor. The job of a casting director is not to cast the best actor technically, is to cast the right actor who just fits this role. So a guy could be a lesser actor than another guy, but no, he just fits this role better, even though this guy's a better actor. When I think of Johnny Storm, I think of Chris Evans. When I just think of Flame On and just the energy of Johnny Storm is about, I think of him. But this is a very key thing here, and we can spoil everything here. Johnny Storm is a womanizer. That's what he is. He's the consummate alpha male. That is at the core of his character. He is a womanizer. He flirts all the time. He's a female magnet. And especially him now being the Human Torch, that just adds more to his bravado and his swag and his aura. Maybe because it's 2025 and it's post-Me Too, he wasn't a womanizer here. All because you tell us that he's a womanizer. No. The only womanizing he does is him trying to convince Chick Surfer, the Chick Silver Surfer, that, yo, can you please come to our side? So I'm sorry, that's a cheat code. Because it's like, hey, so it's trying to have your cake and eat it. You can't say he's not a womanizer because we put in a scene in there where he's trying to woo the Silver Surfer. No. It must be seen in regular life and how he moves. He is a womanizer. But I just feel that you doing that will now be sort of misogynistic, or it will be wrong, or we cannot have a character that's a womanizer because that is bad against women. Fine. Then don't have the character in the film. You see, if you're going to have Johnny Storm in the film, he's a womanizer. If you don't want to have anybody being a womanizer in the film, don't have Johnny Storm in the film. Similar thing with James Bond, how they want to now sort of now change James Bond. James Bond is a womanizer. That's what he is. He flirts with women. That's how he operates. So if you don't want to have that, that's fine. And the funny thing though is, I always say this to people, this small section of women don't speak for all women. Most women wants you to flirt with them. Most women want guys to come in and just, woo them, seduce them. So this small section of women who say, oh, it's misogynistic, it's wrong and everything. No, you don't represent all women. You don't. so, but look, he was good. He was fine. It worked well. But I was watching something like, that ain't Johnny Storm. He did a good acting job because Joseph Quinn is a very good actor. So acting job is fine. So again, he did his job. As an actor, he did his job. So for me, it's just the writing. Hey, this ain't Johnny Storm. Like when I look at the Tom Story film, inferior films, but when I just think of the human touch and what it is, there was so much energy, so much dynamism, there was just so much life to Chris Evans's Johnny Storm that just wasn't here in this depiction here. So that's my thing. But it was fine. It was fine. This is interesting. Pedro Pascal is a good actor. But Pedro Pascal needs to be very careful because he's in everything. The issue that Pedro Pascal has is something that actors should avoid. Don't get overexposed. You see, acting is like a magic trick. You're trying to fool the audience that you are this character. That's the whole point of acting. How can I fool the audience? I am truly 100% this character. See, that's different from, let's say, like a leading man, where for a leading man, they come to now see you. I think Pedro Pascal, he's not a leading man. He's like a character actor. He's like an actor. So my thing, though, is we see you in Mandalorian and Grogu, although we don't really see your face. But we've seen you in The Last of Us. We've seen you in The Materialist. We've seen you in Narcos. And now we're now seeing you in this. It's a lot. And my thing, though, is Pedro Pascal, he has a certain energy to himself. And I'm saying to myself that Pedro Pascal in this and in Last of Us is the same character. It's the same character. Again, for somebody who did acting, took acting lessons and everything, I watch actors very closely and look at all of the nuances and all of the kind of decisions that they now make. Pedro Pascal is a very good actor. He will not give you a bad performance. So is he good at this? Of course he's good because he's always good. Pedro Pascal is a very good actor. But I can see why people have trepidations of him being Reed Richards in this. And my thing, though, is when I look at this, he sort of walks, but put it this way, it was walk. But in my view, I'd pick someone different. I'd actually pick someone different, Like, I'll just pick someone that just has like a different energy about them, So, I mean, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, So, I mean, it's okay. But I'm like, I just feel like if I'm just seeing so much of Pedro Pascal, is a bit too much. But I think the key thing here is, in my view, correct me if I'm wrong, Reed Richards is the leader of these four. He is the face of the Fantastic Four. He's the leader. And my thing is, Pedro Pascal, I don't know whether just Pedro Pascal, just his energy, or in this film, he doesn't come across as leader. He doesn't scream leader to me. He doesn't scream to me, okay, this is the guy taking the lead. Like, you look at Tom Cruise in a film. You look at Arnold Schwarzenegger in a film. I just know that, okay, these guys are going to take the freaking lead. Or freaking Tom Hanks. Like, you put in like a peak Tom Hanks in this, you just know that, okay, he's that dude. Oh yeah, he's a guy that is 100% going to now take the lead in this situation here. And I just don't really feel that kind of energy with like a Pedro Pascal up in this piece, man. So, look, he's a good actor. He gives a good performance, so it works. It's fine. But basically, put it this way, people that had kind of reservations as to what Reed Richards is and how they should view him, they'll have those same reservations, but I don't think it takes anything away from the film. I don't think it takes anything away from the film because Pedro Pascal is such a good actor, his acting quality doesn't detract from anything. So, the biggest issue I had with this film. Well, this review is going long. So, I did some research. Okay, no, before I go there, because again, it was spoiler. Because we're going to get to Galactus and Storm. A big part about acting is your ability to emote and to have different kinds of emotions in your face. I think to myself that what if you had a Jessica Chastain in this role? Or what if you actually cast Silver Surfer how she be cast as an actual guy and a man, and you actually cast Julia Garner in this role? The issue with Vanessa Kirby is I don't see any emotion in her face. That's so I'm just being real. Like, an actor, you need to emote through your face: sad, confused, worried, thoughtful, apprehensive, scared, frightened, happy, overjoyed. These things should be seen through your face, obviously through your voice, but also through your face as well. I look at Vanessa Kirby and I want to just look at her face. I don't see any emotion. I don't see any emotion. Because the first thing I saw her in was in the Mission Impossible film, and I was like, there's just something up with her face. And when I say there's something up with her face, I'm like, there's a lack of emotiveness in her face. And here's the thing, bro. Vanessa Kirby is a better actor than where's my thing? Hold up. Here we go. Vanessa Kirby is a better actor than Jessica Alba. Jessica Alba was a lot more interesting. So Jessica Alba is not a good actor. She hot, but she's not a good actor. Okay. But I found Jessica Alba more interesting to watch just based on her characterization and everything. She was a lot more interesting and lively than Vanessa Kirby. And I'm looking at this system who is so crucial to this film because she has her pregnancy and everything. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I find a character. She was the most boring character of the four. She was the most boring character of the four. You know, like, I just found her character boring. And you can't have literally the most crucial character in this film who gives birth to that baby be the most boring character. But I'll get back to Storm. So if you read the comics, the Silver Surfer is one of the most recognizable characters in all of comic books. When I was growing up, even before I read the comic, I just knew the Silver Surfer. You saw that image, and it is literally next to Spider-Man. It's one of the most iconic characters in comic books. Is the Silver Surfer, because it's such an amazing idea for a character, like a guy on a surfboard who just surfs through the air, freaking out, and his look is iconic. Why? What was the reason of making Silver Surfer female? Why? I don't care whether there's a female character there. Why? Such an iconic character. Why? I'll tell you why. Because you have a film where essentially the two women are the two heroes of the film. Why being misogynistic? Why being anti-minority? I'm just here being real. Because again, I was watching clips of the Tim Story film. I'm like, that's not the Silver Surfer. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not. So as I'm watching it and I'm like, no, it's not the Silver Surfer. It simply isn't. And again, as I was watching, I was like, why did you have this have to be a woman? Because because again, it's having your cake and eat it. That was meant to be a woman, so you can now have an excuse to now make Johnny Storm a womanizer in a very cheap way. So he's trying to now woo thingy. So you've not really made him a womanizer in hardly most of the film, but he's now the womanizer for now the female Silver Surfer. And I was like, okay, that you're just now being cheap. The energy you get from the Silver Surfer as a guy is very different from it being a woman. And again, this is just down to just casting and what works and doesn't work. I don't want a male version of Storm. I don't. I don't want a male version of Jean Grey. I don't. Okay. I don't want a male version of Wonder Woman. I don't. I don't. I don't want a female version of the Silver Surfer. Because when you just look at just what the character is, and again, if you read the comics, read the comics, it's an iconic look. It's an iconic, and for me, because the Silver Surfer, his image is so imprinted in my brain, it was just so off-putting looking at a woman dressed in silver. I was like, because my mind was just like, it's not. But okay, just accept for it. But I was like, it's not the Silver Surfer. It's just not. So I'm sorry, it didn't work, and even the scenes as well when she now talks about her how because I think is it Norman Rad. The story is he has to leave his wife behind, and then he now has to go and accept Galactus and everything. So now the story is now changed the way I think it's her and her daughter. I was what the oh, look, all right, because it's gonna get worse. Because it's gonna get worse. Galactus was very well done in this film. Maybe too well done in this film. When Galactus, you meet him for the first time, in my mind, I was like, these four comedians are not stopping this dude. So my thing was like, those four guys you introduced to me are not laying a scratch on this Galactus. When you see them meeting for the first time, I was like, bro, it's a freaking mismatch. You better pick up that damn phone and call freaking Red Hulk, call the freaking whoever to come and freaking help you. You better call the Thunderbolts Avengers, call everybody to help you, because by the time Galactus starts walking through the city, I was like, how do you beat this guy? I was like, these four comedians cannot step to this freaking dude. So when he got Franklin and got the people, I was like, all right, I think it's over because you can't stop this guy. You literally cannot stop this guy. So I did some research. So maybe I'm wrong. So maybe you guys can just tell me. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know much of the comics. Can Sue Storm, maxed out, make Galactus stumble and fall over? Please tell me. Let me know. Can Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, single-handedly, at her best, make Galactus, a dude that devours walls, stumble? As I was watching this, I was like, so what you're telling me is Johnny Storm couldn't do anything. Reed Richards almost got stretched to freaking pieces. The thing got flung away. So those three losers got easily dispatched. And Sue Storm single-handedly made Homeboy stumble. And who gave the final blow? Of course, it was Silver Surfer. So basically, my thing here is this, and guys, this is just a fact. Reed Richards is a chump. The leader of the Fantastic Four is Sue Storm. Sorry. She was the one that gave birth. She was the one that gave us huge rising speech, and she was pretty much the key reason why they defeated Galactus. Okay, what the hell did he came up with the idea to put him into a unit thing. But when that was happening, that useless loser was on the ground after his body almost got stretched to freaking pieces. So, but all I'm saying though is, I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I don't buy. I don't buy that Sue Storm single-handedly could stop that guy called Galactus. I'm sorry, because the way he was presented is, bro. This. Look at the size of this guy. Look at what this guy looks like. And I'm looking at these four freaking jokers. So yeah, man. Look, my thing here is this. That's just my take here. Oh, and obviously the end credit scene. Doctor Doom holding the little kid. So just to be clear here, everything hinges on this kid called Franklin. That is what everything hinges on. Because obviously Franklin saved her, brought her back from the dead, and everything now hinges on him. That's why Doom wants this freaking child. Here's my thing. I'm waiting for X-Men. I'm waiting for Blade. If Blade isn't super ultra violent, I'm out. If the X-Men is cast badly, if Hugh Jackman is still Wolverine, I'm out. If Storm is light skinned, I'm out. So that's where I am in everything. So if those things, those are my parameters to get back to this whole MCU thing. So again, that's just me. So for other people, they will love it. And I speak only for myself. As a film, that a good bit for me, that's not a film. It's yet another MCU episode. And you pretty much hijacked what could have been a very cool, interesting story and an interesting way just to investigate the family dynamic of these four, because everything hinged on this baby, the pregnancy, the birth, and this child is obviously very crucial for Avengers Doomsday. So this is yet another literal story. Is yet another literal narrative casualty of Doomsday. But here's what it is. Those are my views. I take it to the bank.